Hi, this is Mark Harrison, and I'm going to be making here just a brief video on adding item records in Bibliovation. This video assumes that there is already a bibliographic record there, and all you need to do is attach a new item record to it. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the thing you're going to want to do, of course, is get the book, and you're going to go to the search catalog field. You can either go to the top in the masthead here, or if you're on this page, you can go down to the field down here, and you scan in the ISBN. And that will take you to either a list of records, or in this case, a single record. And we'll want to go into the record, and you'll see an item record already there if there are any, and there might not be. So you're going to want to go over in the sidebar here to Edit Items. This gets you into the General Edit Items area. Once you're in there, if you click on this arrow that's right by the current library column, you get to where you can edit item, clone an item, delete an item, or select it for deletion in case you might be wanting to delete several items. I'm taking myself out of the picture so that we can focus where we need to. Before you can enter any item data in, you need to know what data you're going to use. And in a lot of cases, there will be fixed values for different types of materials. For example, adult fiction books all have certain kinds of information that go into each field. YA fiction books have other information. PME books have other information, and so forth. So you use this to go down, the column, find which type of a resource you're using, and then go across and fill in the information based on what's in this table. Now, this particular table is for the most common and the most static fields, the ones that change little or not at all. This next table here shows the ones that are a little bit more flexible. For example, the barcode has to change with every single item. It also shows fields that we simply don't use. And then finally, the last table in this workbook shows the item status values. These are not part of the item information per se. They're located in a slightly different place in Bibliovation, but I thought it would be good for you to know that this is the document that you would turn to if you ever do need to do something with those. All right, so let's go back to the record and we can move on. We're back in the record now in the Edit Items area, and you may have been wondering when I showed you earlier that one of the options here is to clone item. Hey, can't I just do that? And sometimes, yes, you can. You just have to be careful, because if you clone an item, it clones basically everything other than the barcode. So if there are little differences, like which branch it's at, or some other, variation, you need to go and look and make sure you change those particular fields manually. But I think it's better, really, for now to look at how you would do it starting from the very beginning. So we're going to go instead and select Edit Item. And that will bring up the Edit New Item dialog box. And that's what we're going to go through in conjunction with looking at the table. So once again, the book we are using is SQL in a Nutshell, a desktop quick reference by Kevin Kline. And that is obviously a nonfiction adult book. It's not a kid's book. And I highlighted before I got started here this particular line where you see adult nonfiction books. So as we travel across, the first thing we're going to need to put in are the permanent and current branches. And you can see that those are indeed the first two fields. So I'm going to use main side. You always want to put the same value for both fields. And you should have something on the book that tells you which branch it will be going to. The next thing you want to do is the barcode. Now you'll notice the barcode's not here. It is on the Edit Item Other Fields tab over here. But you don't need to go back and look every time. You can just figure that if it's not on this main one, that you can skip it for now. Of course, you always need to enter a barcode. Bibliovation will not accept a record if there's no barcode in there, so we'll do that. Now, just to make sure that I don't mess anything up, I'm going to add temp just to show this is not actually a valid item record. All right, after that, we can go on and we can add the item type. This particular one was not leased from a vendor, so we will use just plain book. And then shelving location. Still, we're on row 7 here, so it's nonfiction. Scroll down there. We can keep going. The genre is also nonfiction. The item format, you can see here, is book. Yes, there is some redundancy. And then we'll put in the call number. Now, I'm not showing you here where to get the call number. That would be on your processing slip that should be provided. I happen to know that it's going to be computer and it's language, I believe. And we put in that. I'm just going to make up a year of publication. So we put that in. We want to make sure that we change from Dewey Decimal to other generic classic scheme. And then you can pretty much skip the next fields. You go down to the cost. That's the price of it. In this case, I can look on the back of the book and I can see that it's $69.99. No need to put a $sign in there. We skip withdrawn status. We will put in processing in the not for loan, and that will get taken out as when we get to the final step of processing. And then we want to put in our neighborhood and the subtopic and our author. Now in this case, the author's name was short enough to fit the 5-character rule, but just so you know, if the author has a long name, even if the classification rules say to only use 5 characters, here you write it out. Back up in the call number, you abbreviate. We didn't need to this time. But here you always write it out. Because all this is for Bibliovation to put things in order. It's just a sorting field. It doesn't show anywhere in the catalog except for right here. And we just add the record. As you can see, after you click the add item, it shows up right here. And you can see all the information that we put in. We can see that this is the record we did because it has the temp in it. And you could just go through and look at all of the different information. Now that we've done a complete item record from scratch, let's go back and I'll show you how to clone a record. like I said before, if you clone a record, you have to be careful because it copies over everything. So let's, just so we can see, have a look here. It Here's the main side. This is the one thing it will not copy over. Obviously, the availability will be different. The item type, the shelving location, the genre, the format, the call number. By the way, I left out the SQL when I created the record before, which was fine since I was going to delete the record anyway. Classification scheme. No, this was a new title. That is something that one of our people puts in at the very end of our processing. So I don't put it in. She puts that in later. The date last seen, even that might get duplicated. We can have a look. Date acquired, the price, etc. All right, so this time we will go back here and I will select clone item. So, as you can see, it puts in the same branches as that one. It puts in a barcode. It's the next digit up, and you notice that it is missing the initial 0. So that's something else to watch out. If you're cloning an item and you want it to be for another branch, you need to change the branch. You need to add the 0 here, and then you need to change whatever else. Now, and sometimes you may just need to completely redo it. In fact, I think I'll do that here. Temp. Oh, whoops. Like that. Just something gobbledygook, because I'm going to delete this too. It kept the item type, the shelving location, the genre, the item format. It kept the call number, the classification scheme. It kept the new note and the new title note that had been in there. It kept the price. It did keep the date last seen and the date acquired. So if you know that this was acquired on a different date, you can manually change it there. And it kept the price, like I said, and all of the information down here. So the nice thing is that if you do intend to clone, like if we get 4 copies of something, 1 for each branch, then all you'll need to do is keep track of what the number is, go ahead and change the permanent and current library, and make sure that the barcode is correct, and simply click add. And that just puts it right in. So that is the short way. And once you know how to do it, I do recommend cloning for multiple copies of the same item so they all have uniform information and it takes less time. Okay, well that wraps it up for this video. I hope it's been informative. If you still need some further instruction, you can look at the SOPs on the shared drive in the Tech Services folder. Other than that, let's just keep trekking into the future and new cataloging adventures. Have a good one.